Goodwill, super brief slide. Well, what is Goodwill? Goodwill is capitalized excess earnings power. You've probably seen this before. At least I hope you did, because we would have gone in order, right? We would have seen fair value, equity method, and then business combinations. But if you have not, I buy a company for $1 million. The company's only worth $900,000. That gives me $100,000 of goodwill, right? I overpaid by $100,000. And that goodwill is capitalized as an intangible asset. We'll see that in many sections throughout the exam. Such a concept to be familiar with. Not gonna cut out on it. We'll see much more here as well. Well, goodwill from business combinations. We've got two methods and then a sort of take on maintaining goodwill. We've got under the acquisition method, this is consolidation method. This is equity method, right? This is our 20 to 50%. This is 50 to 100% when we have control. Goodwill is the excess of the acquired entity's fair value at the acquisition date over its existing fair value. And under equity method, goodwill is the excess of the stock purchase price over the fair value. This is the same thing. I know it's structured a little bit differently, the words, right? Same exact thing. If I buy a company for $1 million and the value of it's $900,000, that's $100,000 of goodwill. Nothing too crazy there. That's what these both methods are gonna show us. Now, maintaining goodwill, unlike other assets, costs associated with maintaining, developing, or storing goodwill are not capitalized to the asset of goodwill. They are expense. So when we're dealing with a machine, right? If we significantly improve the machine because we put costs into it and now it can produce more goods, we're likely going to capitalize those costs. But in this case, we're only going to expense. You can only create goodwill, or you can only bolster its value from purchases, right? That's the only time you can increase goodwill. Also, any goodwill generally generated internally or not purchased is not capitalized as goodwill. You can only create goodwill from buying another company at higher than it's worth. That's the only time you can create goodwill, something I'm going to drill over and over and over and over and over and over. So this makes sense, as it would be ridiculous if your company could create a multitude of goodwill, which is an asset, by claiming it internally or transactions with itself, right? If I constantly did this internally, that would just be kind of crazy, because I could just keep generating a bunch of assets, make myself look much better than I'm really doing.